glad you could be with us. You know, when you really think that something's super duper important, it's easier for you to compromise morality if you think you can accomplish some great thing. Lots of wrong philosophies are based on that. Communism, they feel like it's okay to sacrifice individual people for the sake of the state. Nazism, you know, for the sake of the superman, the super race, that they could justify doing away with inferior races, you know, like Jews, as if anybody's inferior to anybody else. We all trace back to Adam. You know, it's crazy. But here, I mean, they have trumped up charges and they're making things up and they want Jesus to be crucified. And so now they're pretty well trying to scare Pilate into having Jesus crucified. And so here's what they say in verse 12 of chapter 19. Pilate made every effort to release him, but the Jews cried out, "If you release this man, you are no friend of Caesar. Everyone who makes himself out to be a king opposes Caesar." In other words, you're going to be guilty of letting somebody go that's an insurrectionist. Now, it's interesting. No friend of Caesar, you know. In Luke's account, in Luke chapter 23, verse 2, Luke says that they said, "We found this man misleading our nation and forbidding to pay taxes to Caesar." It's one of the things that they said to Pilate. Did they do that? I mean, did he do that? Remember, he said, "Bring a denarius to me." Whose face do you see there? They said, "Caesar's." And he said, "Render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's." And so, no, he didn't. You know, they said, "Is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar?" Because they taught, well, nobody should have the right to rule over Jews. And so there was the idea among a lot of them, well, you know, not supposed to have Romans rule over us. And then there were others that said, well, the Romans, if we defy their authority, we're going to get in trouble. And so they thought, we're going to get Jesus here. If he says, "Oh, you better pay taxes to Caesar," then they'll say, "See, Jesus is kissing up to the Romans." And if he says, "Oh, don't pay taxes to Caesar," then they can go to Caesar and say, "Oh, man, Jesus said don't pay taxes to you. So we got him anyway." And he said, well, you know, give to Caesar the things that are Caesar, to God the things that are his. And they marveled at it. And so, yeah, they lied. Luke 23:2, they lied. But hey, it's okay to do that if it helps the greater good. Yeah. He was going to be crucified one way or the other. They didn't have to lie to bring it about. It was prophesied. But remember, sovereign God is going to do what sovereign God prophesies, but you and I are responsible for the choices that we make. Have a great day.